So here's something interesting. I'm in the media gallery of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature, where the GP Finance and Economic Development MEC Lebogang Maile has just delivered what will likely be dubbed the less talk, more work budget, the do more with less budget, or even the turnaround budget. Firstly, out the gate, GP's budget has been cut via the Provincial Equitable Share. This is basically the money that the province gets from national budget based off a weighting system. Now, it would take too long for me to actually explain that. Rather Google it or deep seek it. So with that said, today we're going to dive into the money around GP, specifically the Gauteng province's budget. We're going to look at what's happening with the economy here and how that affects you. So Gauteng's budget for the next 3 years is a whopping 527.2 billion rand, $500 billion. That's a lot of money. Think of it like a household budget, but on a massive scale. Every year it's going up by 3%, starting with 171.5 billion rand in this year's fiscal. This is actually the biggest budget in the country provincially. The government wants to use this money to improve services, grow the economy, create jobs, and keep things financially stable. At least they're going to try. My hope with this budget is that we can start to fix Joburg and other CBDs around Gauteng. That's what parts of this budget are actually promising. Fixing GPs in the cities, dealing with the crime and making them more cleaner and more livable. Think of Joburg, Pretoria, Germiston, Krugersdorp, and many other places a whole lot cleaner and a lot safer. Actually, give me your thoughts. What would your budget look like if you were the MEC? Drop it in the comments and let us know which areas you would prioritize. But before we get too far ahead, in order for you to understand this a little bit better, we need to go into how your province's budget is actually put together and set up. Step 1, planning and prioritization. This is where provincial departments submit their spending plans based on national and provincial priorities. These include things like healthcare, education, and even infrastructure. Step 2, public participation. Your view actually matters. Public hearings and consultations are held throughout the province to gather input from communities, civic organizations, NGOs, and even businesses. This ensures that the budget reflects the needs and the will of the people. Every province actually has to do this. Step 3, revenue estimation. Have you ever wondered where all of this money actually comes from? Well, provinces rely on national allocations, like I've said, provincial taxes and other sources to fund the budget. Accurately estimating revenue for needs is crucial. Step 4, budget preparation. This is where the provincial treasury consolidates all of the department's plans and revenue estimates into a comprehensive budget document. This includes detailed spending proposals from stakeholders and portfolios. Then step 5, legislative approval. The provincial legislature behind me has to debate and approve the budget. This is where elected officials have to scrutinize the proposals and make amendments if there is a need. Step 6, they've got to start implementing. Once approved, provincial departments start to spend the money according to the budget, not how they feel. Regular monitoring and reporting ensures that funds are effectively and efficiently used. Step 6, we've got to be accountable. The Auditor General audits the provincial spending to ensure that transparency and accountability is there. This helps prevent things like corruption and the misuse of funds. And that's kind of like the gist of it. Quick one, have you guys ever actually checked out your provincial treasury's websites for things like a detailed budget? I actually think that it's important that we all know what's going on and how the money is being spent. Now, with that said, Gauteng is a huge player in South Africa's economy and it needs to be treated with purpose. It actually makes up 35% of the entire country's money. Think of Gauteng as the economic engine of South Africa. But things aren't perfect here, nor are they rosy. Our national economy grew by only 0.6% this year, and we're hoping that it'll be 1.7% next year. Gauteng itself is doing a little bit better, but we're still facing some big challenges provincially. Now, one of the things that MEC Lebogang Maile highlighted was that we've got things that are hanging over us, like the debt from e-tolls. Remember those things? They're still around. And the other things that government is looking to spend on, like wages. Wages are like 60% of the entire spend. Plus, there's a worry about the province running out of cash in the next couple of years, but it likely won't happen. So there is now a need to be a lot smarter with the province's money. Hence this being the doing more with less budget. They've just got to do that. Now, to fix these problems, the government has some key plans. First, they want to rebuild the economy. They're focusing on being more aggressively careful with the money. They're going to look at things like safety, like crime, and they're also looking to budget a little bit better themselves. They also need to bring in more money. Think of it like this. If your household income isn't enough, you need to find ways to earn more money. The government's doing the same thing here. They want to make sure that they're collecting all of the money that they're owed. They need to stop any money from leaking. They need to find new ways to bring in money. That brings us to 800 billion. Why 800 billion? One big way that MEC Maile and the GP Treasury are trying to source new investment into the province is via the Gauteng Investment Conference. They're aiming for 800 billion investments over the next 3 to 5 years, with 300 billion rand hopefully this year alone. At this conference, they're looking for clear and straight commitments. They're looking for investments into things like technology, green energy, the internet, communication, building roads and bridges, factories, and also helping local businesses in the township. Now, one major project that's in the pipeline is the new railway link between Gauteng and Limpopo. But where is this money going to come from, and where is it going? Look, the biggest chunks go to education and health, about 69 billion and 66 billion respectively. The MEC says this is their way of prioritizing the well-being of the people of Gauteng. But when we look at other things, roads and transport is going to be getting around 9.7 billion rand. Housing is going to get 5.8 billion rand. Another thing is that the province is also investing in things like social development and also making government services a little bit smarter. In fact, the same procurement system that is used for Gautrain is going to be implementing starting almost immediately in key departments, and this will lessen the paperwork and also lessen the corruption leakages and also start to stop crippling government work. Now, for that 9.7 billion rand that's going to roads, it's going to fix potholes, street lights, and also upgrade the roads. Human settlements, their 5.8 billion is going to go into building houses and also releasing land for housing projects. Community safety, 2.4 billion rand. It's going to go into crime prevention and deploying more wardens. E-government's going to get 1.5 billion, and they're going to use that to expand the Wi-Fi in the townships and also to install CCTV cameras in CBDs and townships. Due to getting less money from the national government, Gauteng has to make cuts. There's no other way around it. Every department is going to have to tighten its belts. They're also going to be tested to be a lot more efficient. This means making sure that they're getting the best value for their money when doing things like buying supplies and also keeping an eye on how much money is given to non-profit as well as civic organizations. In fact, one of the core points that was stressed by the MEC was that the payment or the on-time payment of small businesses needs to be key and also to be prioritized. Departments that don't comply with this will start to get less, and also they're going to be flagged and we'll know about it, and something will be done about it. This I fully support. How can you say that you're for small businesses when you're actually trying to cripple them by not paying them on time? Now, going from small to big, the Gautrain is a big deal, and it's also set to get a big upgrade. The current contract ends in 2026, so they're planning a new partnership with a private company to run and maintain it. So my fellow Gautengers, in a nutshell, Gauteng is working hard to balance being careful with your money while still investing in growth. They're focusing on health, education, and partnering with the private sector, and also trying to find money in new and interesting ways. And with the G20 summit already here, they're hoping to show the world that Gauteng is a major economic player. And what do you think about all of these plans? Let me know in the comments. Join the conversation. Let us know what and where you wish your money was spent. Thank you for watching this video. Hopefully it was as interesting for you to watch as it was for us to make. Maybe check out one of these other videos and hopefully they'll be just as interesting as this one. Cheers.